When you're playing around in InDesign, you're messing around with text quite a bit. So we're going to come in here and look at all your advanced text options. These are things that you're actually going to end up using. So we're going to want to play with them as we're coming through and really take your time. It's not super important that you know the names for all the different text editing things that you can do, but it is fairly important for you to know what's available to you. So we're going to get in here and play around with it some. On the screen, I wrote my name and address. That's for all you stalkers who want to come visit me. Hopefully the better looking stalkers will be the ones that come and visit me. And we're going to deal with that. Normally when you're playing with text layout, you do kind of want to do it at actual size so you can see how big the text is and that kind of thing. And you want to make sure that you print the text a lot because it kind of ends up looking different on the printer than it does on the screen here. But I'm going to zoom in just so we can see all the different changes. Alright, after I zoom in, I'm going to come and highlight my name and text and all that kind of business. And you notice up on the toolbar, up on the top, we've got all kinds of different text options available to me. If I want to see all of the text options, the easiest way to do it is with Control T. Control T opens and closes all the different text options. I know it says character up at the top, but you know, it's text. So you can either use the panel or you can use the quick toolbar up on the top. Either is fine. I'm going to use the option bar up on the top because that's just how I roll. So I'm going to close this guy out here. Notice on the option bar up at the top that this little A is kind of pressed in. Those are all the different text options. Later on we're going to mess around with the paragraph options. So we already saw that, hey look, you can change font, and that's nice. And I talked to you guys about you might want to think about printing out all of your fonts so you can actually see what's going on. If you choose a font, you notice that the fonts that you've recently used are kept up at the top of the menu so you can find them again pretty easily. Underneath you've got your bold and italic and semi-italic and all that kind of business. Now we've got font size here. Here's a neat little shortcut for font size. It's Control and Shift and the greater than less than signs, or the carets. So you're going to hold Control or Command on a Mac and Shift and the greater than less than signs. That'll make text bigger or smaller, so that's pretty cool. You can also change the space in between the lines. That's this guy right here. You see you've got the little A and another little A, so they're trying to say that's the space in between the lines. I could crank that up if I wanted to, or I could crank it back down if I wanted to. If I want to set it back to automatic, I just open up the little pull-down menu and put it back down to auto. The official name for space in between the lines is called leading, because back in the day they used to put pieces of lead in between the movable type on printing presses. That's pretty cool. Over here you've also got buttons for all capitals, and you've got what they call small caps. You notice if I did the small caps, the first letter is capitalized. You've got subscript for things like notation and superscript. You've got underline and line through. Line through is really good for things like $250 crossed out, 30% on sale, that kind of stuff. Now I know you're probably looking at it and saying, hey, if I wanted to do all capital letters, I probably would have just typed it in all capital letters. But in a second we're going to set a style of text, and the styles remember the way that text is, so later on we can say, okay, I want this font and this size, and I want it all capitals, and I want it like this, and I want it like that, and then it'll remember all that stuff. So you actually are going to be using these buttons in a little bit. Go ahead and take a second, put some text on the screen. Remember, you have to drag out a text box, type something with multiple lines, try out the font and the space between the lines. Go ahead and try out capital letters and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll come look at it in a little bit.